working through a migraine and therefore nausea edging out what I want to eat, but I need to eat because I haven't eaten today. So I'm gonna do something I've done before, which is a pajon, a Korean pancake. I, however, am gonna mess with it, and I've been curious about the consistency of them, like out and about. When I have them in restaurants, it's never the same as mine, and so I'm gonna do two things. One of which I know people don't do, or I pretty much assume people don't do, and one that I'm just curious about, and one that's probably part of it. So on one hand, I'm going to put it all in one big skillet. I just put water in here, the approximate volume, to see if it would like cover the whole bottom because I wanted to make sure. So I'm going to do it in a big skillet. Last time I did it in a small skillet to the edges, and that was better, but then it was like too thick. So in this case, we're going to see how that works. And two, I'm going to half and half with glutinous rice flour, which I don't even think they use in Korea. I gotta do some research, but they use it in Thailand, among other places, and Vietnam, definitely in Thailand. Anyway, to see if that gets like a chewier, I think it would be fascinating. It could be a hot mess, but you know, that's what I like to do here, so we'll see how it goes. Also, that's a half and half. Normally it's a half cup of just regular whole wheat flour, so I'm doing a half of whole wheat, a half of rice flour. Okay, this is gonna go fast. I've got the skillet heating up over there, cast iron skillet, and I've mixed up my half and half mixture along with some miso. Let's get her done. This is gonna go fast. Let's see what this does. Stop it. Woo-hoo. I've decided I'm going to opt out of doing the broccoli. That seems a bridge too far, and I can't like taste it in my brain. So the rest of this I've done before, some variation, or I can taste it in my brain. So we're going to see how that goes. Do a little scrumpies. Turning this is going to be the key, like flipping it. We'll see how that all shakes out. A little kimchi. I hate this brand of kimchi. I cannot wait till I've used it all up. It is the most, it's like the blandest kimchi I've ever experienced in my entire life. It is gentrified kimchi. We may not have enough to fill this. Oh shit. What happens when you experiment in real time? And I need to turn this in a second because I can smell it. Okie dokie. Got to shut this off and see if I can do some damage control. Two things as this crisps up. One, I forgot myself how I should just like have taken it off the plate in order for me to like put it back in without it falling apart. And then remember the second go around. Second, we're getting a little bit of, we've got the crisp that I was looking for. I did just have a little bit that's gooey. That is very much the glutinous flour. So probably won't be doing that again. Might just experiment with some regular rice flour because I have that too. The glutinous flour is because I've got like elbow deep in the idea of making Thai desserts, and then saw that they're like either have multiple people or block out a couple of days, neither of which I have access to, that are, you know, willing to do this little project. Anyway, so in a couple of seconds I'm gonna pull this out. I can hear the smell. I can tell too from earlier I was like premature. I could have let it sit a little bit longer. There is definitely a level of char that happens for the bottom vegetables, including the green onions, which you find even when you go to the Korean restaurants. I'm still trying to figure out what the temperature should be for like the best for cooking this, but it's a living experiment. I'm gonna plate this and then we'll see how it tastes. Voila. Don't get it twisted that like even coloring is very much on one side and not the other, so that's still something I gotta like sort out. Like I said before, I think that glutinous, there's a reason people don't use glutinous rice in this. Because normally, like, what you're going for is like kind of a crisp and yielding, like, middle, and not necessarily a gooey one. And this is decidedly, even with the 50/50, is decidedly gooey. My mom would hate this. Tastes great. I should know by now that I should only test one thing at a time, so I should have either done the large skillet or done the rice flour so that I could gauge like what was doing what. But in this case, I'm pretty sure it's the glutinous rice flour that's like the thing that's kind of weird. And I did this whole dressing for it, but this is like flavorful enough. I'm not even sure I'm going to use it, which is it might be a reason to make dumplings later on. So yeah, a little gooey in the mouth. If you have a texture issue, definitely don't want that. But I think this technique is probably the better technique for future reference instead of me trying to do like individual round pound cakes. That doesn't work really well. And then I haven't gotten a piece of to see if the potatoes managed to cook all the way through. So it's less of a big deal if the carrots didn't, but with potatoes, nobody really wants raw carrots. Potatoes. And it's cooked all the way through. Okay. So I'm feeling this. Anyway, this is chewy but delightful. I hope you're having something delightful too. Just a side note, upon completion, that was really good. I didn't even use the dipping sauce, which normally I do the dipping sauce for flavor. So I don't know if it's that my putting it all together. I don't know if it was like the addition of the potatoes. I'm not quite sure what did it. But that's probably one of the better tasting ones I've ever made. I think I might keep rice flour instead of doing it half. Might maybe do a quarter a replacement and see how that goes. But it was delightful. And as I continued, I just kept saying, I was on the phone with a friend and she kept saying, "Oh my God, this is so good." I was like so very pleased with myself. So I thought I'd share. Anyway, what of a deep.